All right, guys, welcome back to the ALGS channel. Hope you guys are all doing well and having a great day. This is my 6th or 7th time recording this, and I just finished a 14-minute session of recording this just to realize that at one point in the video, I switched my screen like this so that you guys could see something else, and I never switched it back, and so half of the video was cut off. Absolutely most common thing for J-Miles to do. So I'm going to run through this one a little bit quicker, but nonetheless, we still got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've got roster updates right before the LAN event happening due to visa issues, which is going to cause problems, and there's a little bit of history behind the roster change that they're making that I think makes things a little bit awkward. Also, we've got Wildcard Gaming making a change last minute, which is unfortunate to see before the LCQ, but we have an explanation as to why it happened coming from Madness as well. Also, we've got some schedule changes coming from ALGS I'm pretty excited about. The tournament starts in 2 days, by the way, so if you guys want to stay up to date all things Apex esports related, like the video and subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this. Now, first thing I wanted to make mention of here was this schedule. Please remind me to make sure I tilt the screen back whenever I get done with this, because this is where the things went wrong. So Apex is making a change where basically they are updating the times at which some of these games start, especially on Sunday, the finals being at 4 p.m. London time, which should theoretically be 11 a.m. Eastern, which should theoretically be 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That way you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m., 3 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever, in order to watch some of these games if you're in North America. On the flip side of this, obviously I'm not expecting to start these at 2 p.m. Eastern time, because I know that for London they'll be going on through midnight. So I think that a better way to do this, I love the 4 p.m. idea. I think 4 p.m. is like the best case scenario. Maybe even 3 p.m. wouldn't be too bad. Pacific time can wake up at 7 a.m. That's not that bad, but having people wake up at 2 a.m. and then on the flip side, when you have it in North America, having London stay up until 3 a.m. whatever is just not the way. I think we need to go back to playing LAN events back early in the morning North American time. That's the way it should be done, and I think this is a better lineup here of the way that they're doing this one. I kind of like it. So we do have these official schedules. C versus D Thursday starts at 10 a.m. Obviously that one's going to be pretty early for North America, but it gets better throughout the week. C versus D, if you want to look at the schedule here, these are the groups actually. Group C versus D, that means we're starting it off with a banger. TSM, Fnatic, Vex Gaming, which should be their contest on Lava Siphon theoretically, Ascend, Optic Gaming, Complexity, a lot of really good teams here going up against D, Moist Esports, FaZe Clan, a couple others as well, Pioneers, Furia. So this start off game number 1 is going to be absolutely massive, and I can't wait to watch this on Thursday. Then you move on to A versus B. You got A versus C. We could take a look at some of these other groups as well. So A and B consist of Alliance. You've got Dark Zero. You've got Aurora. We've got NRG. We've got the new Glitch Energy. By the way, this is not the old Glitch Energy. Obviously, Oxygen Esports bought those guys out. So Vayne, Reeds, Aiden, and Psycho, those guys are now on Oxygen Esports. Glitch Energy is now the new South American team that they just picked up not too long ago. So egg sets in Group B. Honestly, I would say, in my personal opinion, Group A, well, I guess you got NRG in there. Group A is still pretty stacked, but I would honestly say that Group A is probably the least stacked of them all. Then you got Group B. I would say Group B is up there. Group C is unbelievably stacked in my opinion. You got TSM, Optic Gaming, you've got Vexed, Fnatic. Honestly, well, some of these teams haven't really been playing to their fullest potential as of late anyway, so you could argue that maybe they're not as stacked as I think. I think Group B is actually pretty stacked now that I think about it, because those guys are all pretty good. Interested to see what you guys have to say, though, about the brand new schedule and the first game starting off. Who are your early predictions moving forward? Also wanted to mention Team Furia getting involved with their motivational videos. It's been 1 year since their first appearance here at LAN for ALGS from the last chance qualifier. They rose to the international stage with the most damage, the most kills, the most points in 2022 World Championship, all while having a laugh. This week we aim to do the same. Now, Furia is a team that obviously made a lot of noise, being that they were ranked grinders. They're not really that good. They're just playing ranked and all this stuff, but they don't really know what comp is like, blah, 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 blah. They came out and did an amazing job, and I think a lot of people had a lot of respect for these guys. Now, we move on to other LCQ teams that could show up at the World Championship by way of LCQ, and one specific roster I think we're all expecting to make it: Wildcard Gaming. Wildcard actually put out on their Twitter page that they're going to wish their Apex team the best of luck in the future endeavors. Both parties agreed that it was best to move on so the players could look for other opportunities. So as of now, Wildcard has dropped Madness, Shooby, and Albralelie from their roster, and now they're looking for a new roster. Now, I don't know about Wildcard looking for a new roster, but Madness is looking for a new org to represent with those guys, and he actually put out the reason that this happened Due to circumstances out of our control, he says, the team has been released from Wildcard. TSM Albralelie, obviously Albralelie, Shooby, and Madness and I are looking for organization to represent and call home for the ALGS and future tournaments. So not only just the LCQ, but just ALGS in general. Easily the most experienced potential roster on the market right here. I don't think he's lying about that. That's pretty truthful, honestly. I think these guys are definitely the tippity top of being picked up. No org for 7 months, or even if for a few months now. I'm extremely grateful for Wildcard giving us a home. Have nothing but love for all the staff and players that I've met on Wildcard, and wish everyone nothing but the best in their careers. EA sadly makes these things difficult for org. So it kind of seems like now we know why. It's because the EA runs such a horrible ALGS format, and that's why you have all of these issues. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well, regarding Stay Naughty and his opinion on one thing. But I also wanted to mention a change for ALGS Split 2 playoffs. Aurora is a team that you saw in those group stages. They're making a little bit of a roster change here, and they said, today we have to inform you that we are facing visa problems again. But this time, take a look at this. This is where things get a little bit awkward. This time it's Sunset who will miss the ALGS Split 2 playoffs. His place will be taken by their well-known player. Get this though, this is actually a former player. I believe it's Malawan. I can't really remember how to pronounce it, but the history behind this though is that Malawan was actually there to begin with. They drop him to pick up Sunset. Now Sunset can't play. They go back to him, and I just wonder, what are the vibes like there? How do you even really recover from that? Or do you actually even recover from that? I just don't know if there's really that much to recover there, because I feel like you're either going to show up and play your absolute best, or you're going to bring a situation where you're not really feeling it, you're not really digging the vibes, and you're more so of kind of like ticked off at the the past of what have happened. So I'm not sure how they're going to handle this. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. Nonetheless, it's something to make mention of. Also wanted to mention some of the drama here behind ALGS. This is Stay Naughty and his opinion on the hard truth of ALGS, and I think this is kind of backing up Madness's point here too. How EA makes things hard. Naughty goes live on stream to talk about some of this stuff, and I thought it was interesting. Thought I'd make mention of it here as well. Roll the clip.
Also on Wildcard releasing. Not really, man. I don't think they deserved it. I think they've been playing scrims really well. Must have just been like a management out of the blue financial situation. And obviously Apex is not a good game to be if you're trying to make money. Apex is a good game for marketing and getting your org's name out there. Apex is a great game to get an org's name out there. It's great for tier 2 orgs.
We've got work to do.
But when it comes to actually making the money,
I brew the fluid myself.
orgs make nothing off this game unless you're TSM or Dark Zero.
Excellent. Time to destroy more.
The only thing they got in common is that they've won lands before, which is pretty crazy to say.
So obviously this is where a lot of people start to wonder about the prize pools and things like of that nature. Is this the most ethical way to do things, right? Should we actually give the prize pool out amongst all the teams that are here to some degree? Like, they give out way more positional spots than you have other team games as well. So it's just kind of weird because there's a lot of splits. You have like $1 million prize pool, right? So cool, so big. But then when you have so many splits compared to like Call of Duty, right? You look at Call of Duty and it's a game where you've got a whole different organization or a whole different way of paying out, that it feels a little bit better to some degree for some of these guys, I'd imagine. But when you got 60 teams you got 20 teams in a game, 60 players in one game, you got 4 different groups, it just gets to be extremely hectic all the time. So obviously, what's that, 30 times 4, you got 120 players I think playing at Split 2 playoffs right now. So it's like splitting all the money gets to be a little insane, and the $1 million prize pool doesn't sound nearly as good as it once did. So I don't know how really all of this stuff works. I also think that to some degree EA needs to take care of the organizations a little bit better, because you've also had teams that have shown up in the past at champs and lost money because they didn't win enough. Even though they qualified to get there, they had to pay their own way. Eventually the backlash came out, EA started paying for all the people that qualified, but it's just like, do things more in an ethical way. I feel like that some of that stuff should be obvious. It shouldn't take a backlash right to get there. Nonetheless, I'm done ranting. Let's get on with the video. Just to wrap things up, Viz Scrim's also announcing a North American only tournament. Seems like this is going to be more common. Take a look at this, a $25 team buy-in. Another team, CGL, also hosting a $1,000 tournament. The next week after that, $10 entry fee. a lot of people are frowning upon the whole entry fee thing, and I understand that things aren't really done with entry fees anymore, but I kind of wish we would go back to that to some degree, because I feel like there's a way to make things more sustainable that way. There's more opportunities for players to play in more consistent tournaments that are a little bit better of prize pools when you can do buy-ins. Buy-ins are not the end of the world. It's weird that we've normalized, you know, $10,000 free entry, because although that some people can't afford that, we notice that they don't have good longevity, right? An organization comes in and they host 5,000 free entry, right? And you're thinking, oh, this is the normal, this is the way it should always be, right? So the players get super used to that. But the problem is those companies don't normally stay around. Most of them come in, they realize they come in for a few times, it doesn't really work out, they end up leaving, and those tournaments end up stopping. There's a couple orgs you could exclude from that. They do pretty well consistently. But I do think it's good to have third-party organizations or tier 2 orgs being able to come in, do a small little entry fee, and allow the prize pool to be a little bit better. I wish we would go back to that being the normal, and I feel like it is a little bit more of longevity system as well. So I don't know, interested to see what you guys have to say about all of that, though. It's kind of weird that people would frown upon it. I mean, if you don't want to play it, don't play in it, but complaining about it is another thing. Anyways, Trev Sachs also mentioned looking for a team for LCQ, willing to fill any role, character, full availability to practice until LCQ, very hungry to compete. We've covered Trev quite a bit on the channel as well. Great player. We'll see if he finds himself on a pretty good roster. Interested to see what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys did enjoy. Want to stay up to date all things Apex esports related. This is the 7th or 8th time that I've recorded this video, and finally this one went smoothly, and we're also 2 minutes shorter than we are on the last one. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. This is Viber Die, only positivity, and until the next time, I will see you all later, Gators.